Brazil, the most successful nation in World Cup history. 5 World Cup trophies, countless football legends, a country where football isn't just a sport, it's a religion. Every time Brazil enters a major tournament, fans around the world automatically place them among the favorites. It doesn't matter if the squad is young or experienced. It doesn't matter who the manager is. The yellow jersey alone carries an aura that few teams can match. But what if I told you that Brazil has a weakness so dangerous that it could knock them out of FIFA World Cup 2026 much earlier than anyone expects? A weakness that has already haunted them in recent tournaments. A weakness that elite teams know how to exploit, and a weakness that could turn Brazil's dream of a 6th World Cup into another painful disappointment. Most fans are focused on Brazil's attacking stars. They talk about the goals, the skills, the flair, and the excitement. But hidden beneath all the talent is a problem that could destroy everything. Today, we're uncovering the one weakness that could knock Brazil out early at FIFA 2026. When people think about Brazil, they think about attacking football. They think about legends like Pelé, Ronaldo Nazario, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Kaká, Romario, Neymar, and countless others. They think about beautiful goals and magical moments. Brazil has built its football identity on creativity and attacking brilliance. For decades, this philosophy helped them dominate world football. But modern football is different. Winning the World Cup today requires much more than attacking talent. It requires balance, tactical discipline, mental strength, and the ability to control games against elite opponents. This is where Brazil's problems begin. The biggest weakness facing Brazil isn't a lack of talent. It isn't a lack of experience. It isn't even a lack of quality coaching. The real weakness is their inability to consistently control high-pressure matches against elite opposition. That might sound surprising at first. After all, Brazil often dominates weaker teams. They score goals for fun in qualification campaigns. They produce highlight reels that make fans believe they can beat anyone. But when they face top-tier opponents in knockout football, a troubling pattern starts to appear. The game becomes more tactical, the spaces become smaller, the pressure increases, and suddenly Brazil's attacking freedom begins to disappear. Think back to recent World Cups. In 2014, Brazil suffered one of the most shocking defeats in football history when Germany destroyed them 7-1 on home soil. Many fans dismissed it as a one-time disaster. Surely Brazil would learn from such a painful experience. Yet in 2018, they were eliminated by Belgium. Then in 2022, despite being one of the favorites, they were knocked out by Croatia. 3 World Cups, 3 painful exits, different squads, different circumstances. Yet a similar problem kept appearing. When Brazil faced disciplined teams capable of controlling emotions and managing pressure, Brazil struggled to impose themselves. The defeat against Croatia revealed something that should worry every Brazilian fan. Brazil had more talent. Brazil had more attacking quality. Brazil had more individual stars, yet Croatia remained calm, organized, and patient. They waited for opportunities. They managed the game intelligently. And when the pressure reached its highest point, Croatia looked mentally stronger. That should never happen to a nation with Brazil's football history. Yet it did, and unless something changes, it could happen again in 2026. One of the reasons this weakness is so dangerous is because modern football rewards organization more than ever before. Gone are the days when individual brilliance alone could carry a team through an entire tournament. Today's elite national teams spend years building tactical systems designed specifically for tournament football. Teams like France, Argentina, Spain, and even emerging powers understand how to control games when the stakes are highest. They know when to attack and when to slow the game down. They know how to manage momentum swings. They know how to frustrate opponents. Brazil, on the other hand, often looks uncomfortable when forced into tactical battles. Another concern is Brazil's emotional approach to major tournaments. Passion has always been one of Brazil's greatest strengths. The players genuinely care. The fans create incredible energy. The entire nation lives and breathes football. But passion can become a weakness if it isn't controlled properly. In high-pressure matches, emotions can lead to rushed decisions. Players may try to force opportunities instead of remaining patient. Defenders may become overly aggressive, Midfielders may abandon their structure in search of attacking moments. Against weaker opponents, these risks might not matter. Against elite teams, they can be fatal. The frightening part is that Brazil's rivals understand this. Opposing managers spend months studying every weakness. They know Brazil wants to attack. They know Brazil loves to play with freedom. They know Brazil can become vulnerable when games become chaotic. As a result, many opponents are happy to sit deep, remain organized, and wait for mistakes. This strategy has worked repeatedly against Brazil in recent tournaments. The longer the game remains close, the more pressure begins to build. The more pressure builds, the more Brazil starts forcing the issue. And once mistakes appear, elite teams are ruthless enough to punish them. Another factor that could make this weakness even more dangerous in 2026 is the growing strength of international football. The gap between traditional giants and emerging nations has become smaller. Teams are better coached than ever before. Tactical preparation has reached new levels. Underdogs are no longer intimidated by famous jerseys. They believe they can compete. Morocco's remarkable World Cup run showed that disciplined teams can challenge anyone. Croatia has repeatedly proven that mentality and organization can overcome differences in talent. Japan continues to improve. Nations across Africa, Asia, and North America are becoming increasingly competitive. This means Brazil cannot rely solely on reputation anymore. Let's talk about the psychological aspect, because it may be the most important factor of all. Every time Brazil enters a World Cup, expectations are enormous. Fans expect victory. The media expects victory. Former players expect victory. Anything less than lifting the trophy is often viewed as failure. That creates immense pressure. While pressure exists for every major football nation, Brazil experiences it at another level. Players understand that millions of people expect them to continue the country's rich football tradition. This pressure can become especially dangerous in knockout matches. One mistake feels bigger. One missed chance feels more important. One setback can trigger panic. Consider what happened against Croatia. After finally taking the lead, Brazil appeared to believe the job was done. Instead of maintaining complete control, they allowed the game to remain open. Croatia found an equalizer. The momentum shifted. Suddenly, the pressure became overwhelming. By the time penalties arrived, Brazil looked vulnerable. Croatia looked composed. That mental contrast was impossible to ignore. It wasn't about talent. It was about handling pressure in crucial moments. Now imagine a similar scenario at FIFA 2026. Brazil enters the tournament as one of the favorites. They dominate the group stage. Fans begin dreaming about the sixth star. The media starts discussing potential finals. Then Brazil faces a disciplined opponent in the knockout rounds. The game remains scoreless longer than expected. Frustration grows, pressure increases, the opponent stays organized. Suddenly, Brazil finds itself trapped in exactly the type of match that has caused problems in recent tournaments. This is why their weakness is so dangerous. It doesn't need many opportunities to appear, it only needs one difficult knockout game. Of course, Brazil still possesses incredible strengths. Their talent pool remains one of the best in the world. Young stars continue to emerge. The country produces technically gifted players at an astonishing rate. Their attacking options can terrorize any defense on the planet. On their best day, Brazil is capable of beating anyone. That is what makes this conversation so fascinating. Brazil's problem isn't that they are weak. Their problem is that they may have one critical flaw that becomes visible only when facing the strongest opposition. Football history is full of talented teams that failed because of a single weakness. Some teams couldn't defend set pieces. Others lacked depth. Some struggled with discipline. For Brazil, the issue appears to be maintaining control and composure when matches become tense and tactical. Until they prove they can consistently overcome this challenge, questions will remain. Every elite opponent will target this weakness. Every knockout match will test it. Every moment of pressure will expose whether Brazil has truly evolved. There is still time for Brazil to address the problem before FIFA 2026. Strong leadership can help. Tactical adjustments can help. Greater emphasis on game management can help. Learning from previous failures can help. The talent is already there. The experience is already there. What Brazil needs is the ability to remain calm, disciplined, and ruthless when facing the toughest moments of a tournament. Champions are not defined by how they perform when everything goes their way. Champions are defined by how they respond when things become difficult. And that brings us back to the central question: could this one weakness really knock Brazil out early? The answer is yes, because World Cups are not won through talent alone. They are won through resilience, discipline, mentality, and the ability to survive difficult situations. Brazil has all the tools needed to become world champions, but unless they solve their recurring problem of controlling high-pressure knockout matches against elite opponents, they risk suffering another painful exit. The scary part for Brazilian fans is that this weakness has already appeared multiple times. The evidence is there, the pattern is there, and until Brazil breaks that pattern, FIFA 2026 could end much sooner than anyone expects. Brazil's road to glory is still open. They remain one of football's greatest nations. They remain capable of lifting the trophy. But if they fail to fix this one dangerous weakness, the dream of a sixth World Cup could once again turn into heartbreak. And in tournament football, heartbreak often arrives when you least expect it. That's exactly why this weakness should worry every Brazil fan heading into FIFA World Cup 2026.